Hey y'all, grown black folks talk. Back out on the climb. Just a recap and a consideration and some decisions, and I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. I do have a specific topic I want to talk about because after just a 10 days break and really just being able to get out and enjoy the summer, there are a lot of things that annoy me now that didn't annoy me as much before, and I'm like, oh, ain't no way. But I have been away. I have not been feeling well, vocal strain, neck strain combined. And I have been up here certain days, because y'all saw the pictures I took a couple days ago, but not really able to make a video because of one or two reasons. One, I was interrupted by doing it by a prince of a man one day. And then the other day, they just didn't come out the way I wanted them to, so I deleted them. Been through changes a lot since the beginning of this year. I am now 42 and a half. Today is July 15th. And since I am now 42 and a half, I've lived half a year at 42. It was time for me to kind of take stock of some things, and I'm still taking stock of some things. But I really have accepted that my circle is not going to include, my close circle is not going to include a whole lot of people who are involved in the demonism that makes up the bulk of this culture. Now, I'm going to pack that claim up for you in just a second. I'm going to start it with how I listen to a certain number of black men who are attempting to help their brothers and sisters do better and find good relationships. And here is the problem that they keep having. One of them had the temerity to say live, I was looking for a woman to tell me no, and that's how I knew she was my wife. I'm like, sir, I respect the man that you've become since then, but you didn't do black men any favors by saying that aloud. Because if you're not finished as a man, you know right from wrong, but you need someone else to help you do that, then you're not mature. And so since your red pill peers of the same age are saying it's all black women's fault because we ran the fathers away, all the men like you are inviting women to do is to finish the work that you said your mother could never finish. You need male mentorship. Now, he got that mentorship, and so he did change because he wanted to. Also because that woman said, I ain't doing it, bye, and walked out on him twice. Once before their marriage, and once afterwards. Like, I don't need you. I'm good. I'm studying for this degree right here. I'm going to be fine. Our child's going to be fine. Get your life together or get gone. She refused to mother him, and that is the woman he's married to. There's a black male content creator who also, his wife refused to marry him like he was and left him. And he went and got his life together. But the whole idea that we have to be the people that precipitate a man doing that doesn't speak well for black men at all. Because there are cultures of men. Now, to be fair, that you can, for my divestment and hypergamy sisters, we're just starting here. But I do notice about our Latino and Asian brethren, because they have access to ancient codes of honor that predate their colonialism. Latino men have a culture that had empires before Europeans came along. African men still have this because they had empires before Europeans came along. Asians are there with Africans at the dawn of civilization before Europeans came along. They have codes of honor whereby, yes, they are definitely patriarchal societies, but the patriarchs uphold that system of honor that they're supposed to uphold. They don't leave all that on the woman. If I still need to be the impetus, and like I said, I'm going to prove my claim right here. The Greeks and the Romans believed this, and their European offshoots in the Renaissance brought this foolery back. See, the good parts of humanity, the Greek men and the Roman men externalized to the goddesses known as the Muses and the Graces. Arts, music, dance, prophecy, all this was offloaded to the women. The men took no responsibility to develop themselves as pure human beings. But you have to consider, you look at the behavior of the Greeks and the Roman gods and goddesses in general, and you look at what they did in the world, and they were involved in demon worship. So men just have this idea that it is okay to offload their development to women. Do not know it, but that is the spirit they are walking in. That's Greco-Roman foolishness. Because here's the thing about the Greco-Romans. You got to think about where we get certain words from. It was said by one of the historians, get a wife for legitimate heirs, but get you a boy for pleasure. Erastus, man of mature age. Pedo, child. That is the origin of the word pederasty. Thank you to Pastor Damon Richardson of Urban Logia Ministries for that definition. Well, you can go a little bit further. Philios, love. Pedo, figure it out, y'all. And even when you looked at marriage in the Greco-Roman society, her father needed to have a good name. It had nothing to do with who she was as a person, because only people that men assign value in that culture were other men. Sexuality. Homo, figure it out. You find Greeks and Romans writing letters to their male lovers, whom they truly love. Their wives are just around to keep the home fires burning. Does this sound familiar? My divestment and hypergamy sisters. Understand that European Georgians and Georgians and Victorians in the colonial period have the same demand. Except in the United States, it became schizophrenic because in 1815 you will find two texts put out. Republican Motherhood, which was American white men telling white women what they needed to do to uphold the Republic, at the same time that Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson comes out. And when that comes out, Emerson gives excuse for men. If you go tell your wife and your children, if y'all want to go along with me and do what rejoices me inly, I'll take you with me, but otherwise I have a right to leave you in pursuit of my individualism. Ralph Waldo Emerson also wrote The Oversoul, and if you follow The Oversoul down to Hegel, you will find out it's the world spirit, the Weltgeist. And if you follow that down, the Weltgeist was about to turn things around and give Germany its chance to be colonialism. Because if you follow that down to Nietzsche, you get to Übermensch. If you follow that down, you find Adolf Hitler. I told you this culture's into demonism. But the United States is schizophrenic. And so is Europe. In this sense, you're supposed to, as a woman, hold up the culture while the men go out and live their demon-inspired fantasies to be gods on earth. Look at your Greco-Roman mythology again. How did mortal men become gods? By doing godly acts, by doing acts of violence and terror. That is the culture that says, hey, ladies, you hold it down. You be pure, you be virginal, you be all this. And you just, when one of us is ready, we will then come to you as our muse and our grace. And then you will be the one to change us. That's demonism. Just say no to demonistically inspired men, whether they know it or not. I'm not saying every man that is in the red pill is demon inspired intentionally, but that's what the Bible calls doctrines of demons. The Bible is very clear. As a man, your model is Christ. If you're not a Christian, if you have a cultural code of honor that actually is such, you probably need to find some older than 500-year-old white stuff, because their model is become a god at any cost, including the destruction of every man, woman, child, beast, or any part of the earth. And don't argue with me about this, because the evidence is everywhere. Who's responsible for global warming in general? Who's responsible for setting up situations for deforestation in North America? And even elsewhere where they colonized and left the people without having their crops available for subsistence in favor of cash crops. Everybody wants to talk about Mexican immigrants. Well, y'all don't know about how the United States supported Porfirio Diaz, who took land away from the Zapatistas so they couldn't grow subsistence crops to grow crops that other people wanted to buy so that the people in the United States could profit from that. And let Porfirio Diaz be a fat cat till the Mexican Revolution came and got him. Y'all don't know how the United States has messed in South America. On a particular September 11th, we supported the overthrow of a Democratic leader because he was messing with a multinational fruit company that we wanted to keep running. Y'all don't know about that. When I tell you it is demonism, and the demonic wickedly have been done to turn everything into the pursuit of profit, which is how you measure your godhood in this country. A man had the temerity to say to me yesterday, well, y'all know that if Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos were to do that, you would submit to him. I'm like, sir, let me tell you something. Elon Musk has 9 or 10 children, and the older ones are disowning him by changing their name, and they don't want nothing to do with him. He is an overgrown, spoiled brat. Jeff Bezos is out here building a $500 million yacht. But his workers have to wear diapers because they don't get enough breaks at Amazon. My obedience is not on sale. If I respect you, I may I will listen to your opinion and respect your wishes. If I don't, get lost. My obedience is not on sale. The slave market has been closed since Juneteenth, 158 years ago. Catch up. But see, like I said, these men are truly lost. And to back up from that, people who are externally motivated only in a society like this are also lost. Including a lot of the women. The reason that man could have that temerity to say that to me is because he's known enough women who would do anything for a man with money, including sell themselves back into his slavery. There are plenty of white women who held up the republic, the slave-owning republic. Slavery had not even stopped completely in the North in 1815. And to his credit, I will give Emerson a little bit of credit, Emerson was against the process of slavery. It had not yet been abolished in Massachusetts. And now, I think it was abolished in Massachusetts, but not yet in New York in 1815. Honor given to Reverend James Varick and the African Methodist Episcopal Church under his leadership did tireless work. And of course, honor given to all the unnamed black women who we do not know their names in there. 50 years of work got slavery abolished in New York in 1827. Not 1815, 1827. I gotta get my bag out of the sun. I'm cooking my plums in there. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I gotta get my bag out of the sun here. Hold on. Put that over there right now. Okay. Shout out to all the unnamed women who were involved in that as well. But the point is, hey, the people who got all these Confederate statues took up that white women are now getting killed trying to take down. White women held up the Republic and held up the Confederacy and were out there on January 6th receiving, unfortunately, the error of their ways. So a lot of them did the job. And there are plenty of black women who are externally motivated and tied into this system as well. So I said all that just to say what I have learned in the peace and the quiet, and having met people who are into that as well and are walking contrary to the foolery and valuing being able to be people in the midst of God's creation, is that I can't have any truck with that. The other thing about people who are externally motivated, no matter what I try to do, this is what I've learned. If people are not externally motivated, I can do that for a while, but familiarity is always going to breed contempt. And what I mean by that is, no matter how much I try to do, it'll never be enough coming from the external. At some point, it has to be internally focused. You have to have a faith and a belief of your own. Now, as a Christian, I'm always going to recommend Jesus Christ to you. But the story of Jesus Christ on earth says that even a perfect person cannot externally motivate you. That's why he told the disciples, when I get back to heaven, I'm sending the Holy Spirit back to do what? Live on the inside. What is that old traditional gospel song? Something within me that holdeth the reins, something within me that banishes pain, something within me I cannot explain. All that I know is there is something within. So she wasn't able to explain it. She was of a generation that had not had the opportunity yet to read through John 14 to 16, but you don't have to completely understand it to know what that song is about. It has to come from within. You're not going to change your life ultimately because someone else wants you to do it. These men that I was talking about at the beginning of this conversation, these are Christian men. So eventually what ended up happening was they tapped in within and they went on and changed their lives so they did not let the best woman that they ever met go away. Because they had left, remember? So they had to change and they had to chase and they had to prove themselves. Side note, whenever I hear a man sit up here talking about, I need a woman to prove herself and chase me, no. That man is involved with demonism. All creation has the male chasing the female. If a man is walking contrary to that, he is walking contrary to the order of creation. Period. Period. So, it is important to know the depth of the foolery you are in order to get out of it. But you must have made that decision for yourself. I do not have time to carry people. I have had to discipline myself in this matter. Trying to keep this bag out of the sun, but the bag is moving on. The sun is moving on me. Hold on, y'all. Finally get hot weather and nobody know what to do out here. It's not that hot. It's about 70 degrees, I would think. Anyway, just having made some decisions about what it is that I can and cannot do and will not do and will not allow in my life. This is not to say that any of the people I've described are inherently worse or better than I am. It's just that when you know, you know. And that really also has to do with what we're going to do on this channel. I do not have time to talk about every irrelevant person. And when I say irrelevant, here's what I mean. I don't mean that they don't exist as human beings. I don't mean that their problems aren't real. Are they helping us advance ourselves or not? There's a lot of celebrity news. Nope. It's not that I don't care about those people. It's not that I don't care that people's emotions are being affected by it. It's just that when we get finished looking at all this, is this going to change our position in life? No, it's not. So why are we paying attention to it? Why aren't we listening and talking to people that have solutions? I've spent a lot of time watching and enjoying Tabitha and Chance Brown. In that order. And I know for some men that's very frustrating. But Chance Brown, she played the back for him before she became famous, and now he plays the back for her. They're just going through different seasons of life. We know Tabitha better. I spent a lot of time, not without critical thinking. I have another little video to do about the sorrow and the necessity of vetting. It is very hard to vet for some of the things I'm talking about, except that, again, externally motivated will help you figure it out. I spend a lot of time, and some of these black male content creators, even though I'm just sitting there like, yeah, your culture of men expects too much from women. But at the same time, you are describing reality as it exists. So people who want to live in that reality have to work with it. So you're giving solutions for people who want to live in that reality. That's just not my decision now at 42. Because I'm meeting people that I don't have to. I'm meeting people that aren't in that reality, which is nice. And some of them are black, like me, some. So it's just like, okay, but it's real solutions for those situations. I respect that for what it is. It's important to fill your mind with things that help you solve the problems that you have, as opposed to you just kind of marinating on and staying in and being upset about. So over here, we're going to attempt to do that. And I came back to share my reflections just because if I'm on this journey of figuring these things out, then perhaps I can help someone else who is as well. And I've told you, here's a solution for you. There's no reason to get upset. Just know what you're dealing with. Men who have this idea that the woman has to be everything that's good and he has to get all that from her, it's demonism. Just know it. Just accept it. And I told you, I proved it. We look at the history of the men who follow this mindset. What did they do? Did they present anything holy or sanctified? Did they take any responsibility for their own sanctification? And even if they name themselves as Christians, we are responsible. The Holy Spirit does intend to sanctify us, to make us holy, to make us like Christ. Love, joy, peace, gentleness, goodness, long-suffering, meekness, faith, and self-control are on the docket. But are we actually active partners in this? You have Christian men thinking they don't have to be active partners. They'll just get themselves a woman that has it and live up off of her. That's demonism. It directly contradicts the word of God. It directly contradicts all of creation because, again, the male pursues and proves himself to the female. It is against the order of creation. And the only person with a vested long-term interest in you walking against the order of the creation is Satan, who wants to take it over and run it his way. And his men have been wrecking it with the help of women who go along with it. Don't be deceived. Eve got a little bit of a pass. The Bible does not contradict her explanation. It says later on in 1 Timothy, she being deceived was in the transgression. But it also says in Adam all died, and Christ shall all be made alive. It's a very important distinction. Adam was not deceived. The Bible is very clear about that. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew what he had been told. But here's the thing. When you know the men are lost to the doctrines of demons, when you go along, you are coming under that authority. Now that you know, you know. When you listen to your red pill guys, and like I said, people are not conscious of this. And the women who push this are not conscious of this. They have not done the historical study. But just know that's what's going on. There are a few channels that have talked about this. I can't think of one right now, but I know there's one that said black men want to be Greek men, basically. It's a good breakdown. Dr. Damon Richardson, Urban Logia Ministries, does good breakdowns about some of this stuff too. So that's what I've been out here thinking about. Running my mind over the last 2,500 to 3,000 years of history, and over this half year of being 42 and through the history there. And just realizing by just having let the stuff go that I had to let go, and letting the people go that I had to let go between now and January, my life has so much peace and productivity. My life has so many more occasions for me to invest in the things I really do want to be invested in. It's important, and I pass that on to you. I have one more little video to do, and then I'm going to head on back to the house, at least start my walk. I take my time. But just enjoying being out here on the climb and just enjoying peace. And like I said, I haven't given you the details on the prince, but I'm meeting the kind of people, including the kind of men I would like to meet now. I have not told you the race of any of these people either. I don't intend to start. I want to talk to you about the things of the human things that are important to look for. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit in my next video. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Actually, in just a little while. You may see this video tomorrow morning. All right. Bye. Well, let's see, what time is it? Maybe later today. Depends on when I get back to the house. Anyway, bye.